Hello again and welcome to another Morty and Glory Warhammer 40k video. In today's episode, we shall be doing a quick tip tactica where we look at a crunchy combo that you can plug and play into your army list. And oh boy, do I have a spicy meatball for your viewing pleasure today, because we are going to be exploring an old tactic made new once more for 10th edition. Any 9th ed veterans here are going to get a bit excited with this one. We're going to be looking at Combat Guard. We're going to be looking at the Dreadnork Mark II. And so without further ado, let's fix bayonets and charge right into today's episode.
Attention Guardsmen, the Commissariat has detected you have not yet liked this video. Do so immediately or else you will face the Emperor's wrath. And anyone who has not yet subscribed to the channel will be transferred to the penal battalions. That is all. Move out!
Now, I briefly want to give you young guns, you greenhorns of 10th edition, a little history lesson. Back in 9th edition, when Guard got their codex for all of 3 months, a really cool combo was discovered that was nicknamed by the community the Dreadnork. Back in 9th, you couldn't attach characters to units. They sort of had to just sit around nearby. But what you could do is take a platoon command squad and then add on to it an ogre and bodyguard. And via these various means and arcane technologies, you could make a unit that was actually pretty durable. In fact, it was damn durable. And it actually became a little famous around the competitive community, and it started seeing some play in some top tier lists. If you needed a brick wall, then the Dreadnork was the ultimate reinforced concrete bunker. Now, sadly, the Dreadnork as we knew it did not survive the transition from 9th to 10th edition. But I have had numerous members of the community reach out to me and say, Mordian, the Dreadnork is not dead. It lives on. It's just improvised, adapted, overcome, and it's changed with the new meta. And so we're going to take a look at it today. We're going to go through step by step the new Dreadnork, the one that people have been getting very excited about, and people have been saying it may not be able to take hits quite as well as it could, but it can dish out a lot more damage. And hey, sometimes best defense is good offense. But with all of that said, let's now get into the nitty-gritty. Let's look at the units that are required to make this combo work. And there are 4 constituent parts. You have a unit of Kashtan jungle fighters combined with a platoon command squad, and then you add on to that Nork Deadog and Colonel Ironhand Strachan. Oh yeah, any combo that features Strachan gets a big thumbs up in my book. Now let's start off with those Kashtan jungle fighters. These really are the glue that brings everything else together. Now, as an Imperial Guard battle line unit, they can have 2 leaders attached to them. So you can have a command squad attached to the Kashtans, and you can also have Strachan. Now I know what some of you are thinking, but Mordian, surely you've got 3 leaders because Nork Deadog is also being attached to the unit. Here's the funny thing with how Ogre bodyguards work. They're not leaders. They're essentially separate data sheets which are upgrades to your platoon command squads. So what happens is you buy a platoon command squad, you then buy Nork as essentially an upgrade for that platoon command squad, but he's not a separate leader in his own right, and then you attach the now enhanced platoon command squad to the jungle fighters, and you've still got room for another leader in there, which is Strachan. So it all does come together, and it's kind of a cool way of getting 3 characters in 1 unit. Now, in addition to the Kashtans being the glue that allows all of this stuff to come together, they also have their jungle fight ability, which is pretty significant. Each time model in this unit makes a melee attack. If this unit made a charge move or was charged this turn, so it can be used both ways, improve the strength and AP characteristics of that attack by 1. Now, this ability affects everyone in the combined unit. It affects the jungle fighters, it affects the platoon command squad, it affects Nork, and it affects Strachan. Because as long as they're all together, they all count as being in the same unit, and they all get affected by jungle fighters. The big question when it comes to Catachans is how many you take. You can take them in a blob of 10, or you can take them in a blob of 20. Now, if you take 10, you are going to save some points, so this combo is going to be somewhat expensive, but that is less glue. Remember, if the Catachans go down, then the unit splits apart. There are ways of trying to keep the Catachans around for as long as possible. Remember, you can take out members from the command squad first, so you can have your jungle fighters, you can lose 9 of them, keep 1 guy left, and then you can start losing the veterans in the command squad because they don't have the character keywords, so they are eligible to be removed before the characters. Likewise, Nork, I believe as well, can also tank hits. So you do have ways of like trying to eke out more bodies from the Catachans and keep that glue together as long as possible, but you might want to just make it a sure thing, make sure this unit sticks together for as long as possible, and go for the 20. It's going to come down to how many points you have left over. My advice would be start off with a 10. If you get to the end of your list and you've got everything in there that you want, you've got your officers, you've got your tanks, you've got your infantry and whatnot, and you find yourself with maybe 80 points left over, there's nothing wrong with chucking a unit of Catachan jungle fighters in there, or should I say boosting up that unit of Catachan jungle fighters that are making up the Dreadnork from a 10-man to a 20-man squad. The next unit we want to look at is the Platoon Command Squad. Similar to the Catachans, this is going to be a bit of a glue unit because you need to take this in order to take Nork. Back in previous editions, you could actually have Ogren bodyguards and then lone officers like Strachan and Costello and stuff like that, but that's all changed now. You can't have Ogren bodyguards with lone officers. You have to have Ogren bodyguards and, for example, Nork as well, attached to specifically Platoon Command Squads. However, the good news is that the Platoon Command Squad is not a tax unit. It is actually bringing a lot to the table in its own right. Firstly, you get a power fist from the platoon commander, and this is going to be a melee orientated unit, so having an extra power fist in there is nothing to be, nothing to turn your nose apart. Another thing to mention is that unique to the Platoon Command Squad, every single one of the veterans can be given a las pistol and chainsword, and this does not impact the special equipment they can take on top of that. Essentially, Platoon Command Squad veterans come equipped with las guns, but you're allowed to swap out the las guns for las pistol and chainswords, and then any guard, if you go through the war gear options, it says any guardsman equipped with a las gun or a chainsword can be equipped with 1 Master Vox, can be equipped with a Medipack, can take a regimental standard. So you're going to take your banner guy, you're going to take your Medipack guy because you might as well get an extra bit of durability with the 6 foot Feel No Pain. You might take the Master Vox guy, although to be fair, you're probably not going to be doing a lot of orders long range with this thing, but you might take the Master Vox guy, and then you're also going to have your platoon commander with the power fist. The question is, with that last veteran in the squad, do you go for just another las pistol chainsword guy, or do you add in a bit of punch with maybe like a heavy flamer or a melter gun? Really, it's going to be dealer's choice. If you're going all in on the combat, just go for an extra las pistol chainsword guy. It will get you an extra 3 attacks. And remember that these chainsword attacks are benefiting from the Catachan jungle fighters ability. So these aren't 3 chainsword attacks at strength 3, no AP. These are 3 attacks per veteran at strength 4, AP -1. So if you go for all chainswords on your platoon command squad, you are getting an additional 12 attacks at that strength 4 at that AP -1. That is significant, and that power fist is also going to be hitting at strength 7, AP -3, damage 2, and don't forget that you're more than likely going to have fixed bayonets on this squad, so all of these attacks will be hitting at 3s. So this platoon command squad, like I said, it's bringing a Feel No Pain, it's bringing the regimental standard, which allows you to get extra OC. It's also, remember that platoon command squads allow you to still be targeted with stratagems even if you're battle shocked, which is really, really big if you want to have like reinforcements and stuff. And they're also bringing a 6 of Feel No Pain. And on top of this, they're actually bringing a significant quantity of good melee attacks. But now let's get to the part of the video that you've all been waiting for. The buddy cop duo that is Nork and Strachan. Now, Nork is just a big slab of meat, but he's not a bad unit in any way, shape or form. He's a little pricey. He does come in, I believe, at like 60 points, but you do get a decent damage output for that. Firstly, he is toughness 6. However, remember, you won't get to use that toughness 6 really, because he has to use the majority toughness of the unit. So when your unit is being wounded by the enemy, Nork is actually going to be toughness 3, so it's not great. But you can still allocate damage to him, and he does have a 4+ save, and he does have 6 wounds, and he does have a 5+ feel no pain just for himself. So you can take a whole bunch of wounds on Nork if you want to. You probably want to lose a lot of like the catch-hands stuff first, but Nork can do a little bit of tanking. But the real reason you're sort of taking him is for his damage output. He has the Ripper gun. It's okay. It's basically a heavy bolter with sustained hits. It's different to Ripper guns that you find on your normal Ogrins, though. It's not rapid fire. But really, you're looking at that Ooge knife. Now, Nork's huge knife is 6 attacks at weapon skill 2+, at strength 8, AP -1, damage 2, and with devastating wounds. But don't forget, he will benefit from the catch-hands. So actually, it's strength 9, AP -2, damage 2 with dev wounds. Also, he has Thunderous Headbutt. Each time this model's unit is selected to fight, you can select one enemy unit within engagement range of this model and roll a d6. On a 2 to 5, they take d3 mortal wounds. That's going to be an average of 2. And on a 6, that enemy unit suffers d3 plus 3 mortal wounds. That's a huge amount of mortal wounds. So between Nork's Ooge knife and its dev wounds, and then also between that and Thunderous Headbutt, you have a guy here which is putting out a lot of potential mortal wounds. And even if he doesn't get, even if he just gets a d3 and he just gets like a cheeky dev wound here and there, he's still slapping down 6 pretty punchy attacks. But last, and certainly not least, we have Ironhand Strachan, probably my favorite character in the Guard right now. He comes with a 3+ save, and he also has 4 wounds, but he's probably going to be the last man standing in this unit because he's a character, so all the bodyguard stuff has to go first, and you're probably going to lose the platoon commander before you lose Strachan. Now, he's actually just generally a very good officer. He comes with 2 orders, and that's why I said you probably want to keep that Master Vox, because he can order, the platoon commander can order this big combo, and then Strachan can do his 2 orders long range to other guard units if they need it. But we're not really looking at him in his officer capacity here. We're looking at him in his ability to bitch slap hive tyrants across the room, because he comes with an auto shotgun, which is kind of an interesting gun, and he's got a plasma pistol. Screw the range weapons, we're going to melee. He's got the bionic arm with Devil's Claw. Now, this is the anti-monster 4+. And it is another 6 attacks, again at weapon skill 2+, at strength 6, AP -2, damage 2. But don't forget, we have the catch on jungle fires, so actually those attacks are going to be at strength 7, AP -3, damage 2. His ability, Cold Steel and Courage, means that while this model is leading a unit, melee weapons equipped by models in that unit have the lethal hits ability. So Strachan's got lethal hits, Nork's got lethal hits, the platoon command squad, all those veterans, those lovely chainswords have got lethal hits, and all of those, and the platoon commander of the Power Fist has got lethal hits, and then you've also got all of those lovely Catachans with lethal hits as well. This ability, Cold Steel and Courage, is what allows you to send this blob into big, tough units that it has no right to fight, and to actually beat them. It can take down monsters. It can take down vehicles, because you're throwing so many attacks, and all of these are going to be at some form of AP, that just because they're strength 4, it doesn't really matter. Just because the max strength this unit is like 9, and normally that's not good for dealing with vehicles, it doesn't really matter. You've got lethal hits, and if you can, and remember, you've got really good attack concentration with the platoon command squad. You know, even if you just get the platoon command squad and then Strachan and Nork into combat, and only like a handful of the 20-man Catachan blob, you're still getting a really high volume of attacks. And if you manage to get them all in, that's a lot of lethal hit capability. That's a lot of AP -1 and AP -3 hits that are going through. Strachan also has the ability that just affects him. Been there, seen it, killed it. Each time this model makes a melee attack, if you made a charge move, so you have the charge, not the enemy coming at you, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll, which is just frankly amazing. Hitting on a 2+ with lethal hits, with full rerolls to wound on Straken's bionic arm. That's a lot of AP -3 lethal hit potential. It's a lot of damage to lethal hit potential as well. And even if you don't get lethal hits, you get loads of chances to wound. And even if you're, wounding something like 5s, you get that reroll. It would be overpowered as all hell if being there, seeing it, killed it affected the unit, but sadly it does not. So Nork does not benefit from this. The guardsmen don't benefit from this. It's just Straken. But I have had Straken bring down Hive Tyrants in combat thanks to this ability, so do not overlook it. Bringing all of this together, we have a unit with the potential to throw out 6 Strength 7, AP -3 damage to attacks, 4 rolls to hit, 4 rolls to wound with lethal hits, and anti-monster 4+. We then have another 6 attacks at weapon skill 2+, Strength 9, AP -2, 2 damage, dev wounds, and an average of 2 mortal wounds on top of that. And then we have another 3 Strength 7, AP -3 damage to attacks hitting on 3s. And then we have 32 Strength 4, AP -1 damage 1 lethal hit attacks. This makes for a total of 47 attacks from this one unit, and an average of D3 mortal wounds on top of that as well, with the potential of getting up to 6 mortal wounds from the Thunderous Headbutt. Now, of course, we are looking at this with its maximum possible potential, and of course we are hyping it up a little bit, but even if you just get rid of like half of the card chance, and that's just as many that either you take or that get into combat, it's still a lot of attacks, because the vast majority of the damage is coming from, and the vast majority of the volume is coming from Straken and Nork and that platoon command squad. Those 7 models right there have 27 attacks, and they're all benefiting from the extra AP, the extra strength, the lethal hits. Just those models alone have a lot of punch. The only real downside to this squad is it's a little pricey. If you take Nork, and then you take Platoon Command Squad, and then you take Straken on top of that, you're looking at 175 points at the time of recording. And then if you take the 20 Catachans on top of that, it's another 110 points. You are looking at 285 points. You can get a Rogel Dawn and change with that. It's true. But do I think it's worth that much? Well, even if you drop 10 Catachans out, let's say we bring it down to, 230 points, roughly. Do I think this unit is worth 230 points? Yeah, probably. Do I think it's worth 285? Yeah, probably. You get what you pay for. It's a big old blob, which can not only storm an objective, but it can also hold an objective. You've got damage output, and you've got a fair degree of durability in there as well, with all of the extra bodyguards and characters and stuff that you've thrown into this unit. And you've got to feel no pain on all the guardsmen. You've got to fight feel no pain on Nork. Yeah. It's tough. It's fighty. It's scrappy. You know what it is? It's the goddamn Dreadnork 2.0. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you think that the Dreadnork is back in business, or is it dead and buried? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and Patreons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Mad Larkin, Marcus Roberts, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Wolf, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.